Welcome to the Smart Money Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Arese. I'm the founder of smartmoneyafrica.org, a financial education platform tailored to the African Millennial woman. But I'm probably best known as the author of two best-selling personal finance books, The Smart Money Woman and The Smart Money Tribe. I love having money conversations that encourage African women to think bigger and become the chief financial officers of their own personal economies. This podcast is a weekly show that will focus on powerful conversations, stories, and practical lessons that teach African millennial women how to make money, keep money, and grow money. Hey people, I just wanted to say, wow. The response to last week's episode was nothing short of amazing. Thank you so much to everyone that listened, everyone that shared it on Instagram, WhatsApp. Well, I haven't checked if anyone has left a review on iTunes yet, but please go to iTunes, leave a review, rate the podcast. I appreciate you. So this week, I wanted to talk about comparison and how it can hurt our financial health. I think in Africa, we have our own special blend of keeping up with the Joneses. And it's called, have you seen your mates? Have you seen what your mates are doing? And it often starts when we're in school, when our parents say things like, why can't you get all A's like Ifweko? Or, why can't you swim and win prizes like Alero? Then we finish university. And then we go from comparing grades to comparing jobs. And then comparing cars. And then if you're not careful to reframe the way that you think about this comparison, it becomes a never-ending cycle of always trying to keep up with society's expectations at the detriment to your own financial health, as opposed to just focusing on achieving your own goals. And unfortunately, this is often hard to do because we live in a society that shames people for living within their means. Many people have blamed and called social media the main driver for this unhealthy comparison. This comparison that has driven many folks to live above their means. So people feel pressured to buy luxuries, status symbols that their incomes can't support because they're doing it for the gram. Many people are depressed because of other people's perceived wealth, and they generally feel bad about themselves because they're not measuring up to the achievements of total strangers. I don't know, it's so crazy to me, right, that people feel like this. And I feel differently because I think as a society, we've always been this way. Social media has just created a platform that amplifies how we think and how we behave. The only difference between then and now is that pre-social media, if Sade bought a Range Rover, in the words of my dear mother, she would just launch it at a wedding or at a party. And if people wanted to gossip about her, they would talk about her in the comfort of their living rooms. They would gossip about it, with their friends and families. And if a gossip rag like city people decided to carry it, there was no comment section for people to express their feelings. So there was no feedback mechanism. And I think that it's because we now have these social media platforms that give us constant feedback. Everything is amplified and it's just causing many people to do past themselves, right? At first, I used to argue with my friends that it was silly for people to see a celebrity's post and feel pressured and depressed that their own lives don't measure up. I used to think it was so ridiculous. I'm like, what the person's posting has nothing to do with you. Just do you, boo, stay in your lane. But I didn't think it was a real thing. But apparently it was me that was naive because the more I paid attention to people's conversations, comments on Instagram, etc., I realized that many people think like this. Listen, none of us are perfect, but this is my own 2 cents. Every human being is on a journey, and everybody's journey is made up of a combination of blessings and obstacles. So the way I see it, it's silly to covet someone else's blessings when I don't know what obstacles or demons they have had to fight in their own lives. Would I have been willing to go through the same? Could I have survived the obstacles that they've had to overcome? Because sometimes the obstacles someone else has been able to overcome may look easy to you, but they could have killed you. Have patience and faith in the work that you're doing and what you're building because your blessings will come. I truly believe this. I believe our tailor-made blessings will come. So in this episode, I wanted to share 3 strategies that could help you put the comparison in check and also improve your financial health. Number 1, fix your money mindset. Listen, don't let anybody confuse you. Making money is hard. It's hard work. It is not beans. You can have an idea. You can have good intentions. you can know how you want to execute it. And then there'll be a million obstacles on the road to making that money. Not to talk of keeping it and growing it. It's difficult, but building anything always is. Otherwise, everyone would do it and would all be billionaires out of the gate. But I truly believe that a combination of patience, hard work, and resilience, the resilience to overcome obstacles and bounce from one uncertainty to another is what actually equals financial success. But it's a process. And that process can be frustrating, right? And it causes people to do and think in a lot of negative ways. But there are two types of money mindsets. There's the scarcity mindset and then there's the abundance mindset. I believe the scarcity mentality is at the root of the kind of comparison that keeps people broke, right? That keeps people constantly comparing themselves to other people and puts them in negative thought patterns. People that have a scarcity mentality believe that there will never be enough. And basically, their thought process and actions stem from a place of lack. This mindset is likely to manifest in several negative thought patterns that include unnecessary comparison, jealousy, envy, unhealthy competition, and everything in that family, sha. For example, let's say you see a post on social media that Kemi Adetiba hits 300 million naira at the box office for her movie King of Boys. People with a scarcity mindset will think, are you sure it's 300 million? I beg, Joe, they are just faking the numbers. Please, Ojoro, please. The only reason that she's gotten to that level is because she's friends with so and so. They look for ways to discredit the wins because in their heads, if she wins, it means I can't win. Most of the time, the people who constantly try to discredit others are frustrated either because they have tried and failed themselves or they were too scared to try. So when they see someone achieving the same thing, their instincts are to attack it because it gives them an excuse for their failures. So a scarcity mentality tells them that there's not enough wins for all of us. But listen, cutting down someone else's achievements does not create room for you and it does not put money in your pocket. Praying that someone else's blessings are taken away is pointless because their blessings are not automatically transferred to your own plate. Facts. A person with an abundance mindset will see the same post and be inspired by it, not jealous. Because the fact that another African woman can do it is proof that it is possible for me too. So generally, when I see people winning or gracefully overcoming the obstacles that life has thrown at them, I'm inspired. I'm inspired by their strength and their tenacity. And it gives me hope, right, that is possible too. So even if I've failed at something, even if I've struggled with something, seeing another person win shows me that I can do it as well. It's possible. I choose an abundance mindset, not because I'm altruistic, but because it makes the most sense to me. It's the most practical. If I see someone win and I'm jealous of them and I make excuses for their success so that I can make myself feel better in the short run, I'm playing myself. Because I'm subconsciously saying I'm jealous because I don't believe that it can happen to me. I don't believe that it is possible. Or I don't believe that what I'm building has merit. If you don't believe that it is possible, or in saying that it was impossible for somebody to achieve something, you're subconsciously telling yourself that because that thing is impossible, you cannot achieve it either. So in a way, you're self-sabotaging. Comparing yourself to others leads to a lack of focus. I know that there's a lot of shame around failures, a lot of shame around, not measuring up, but we need to change our mindset, right? This episode of the Smart Money Tribe podcast is brought to you by Double. Double is an automated investment platform that gives subscribers the opportunity to make monthly contributions with a substantial return on their investments over the tenor. Double is a Sterling Bank product that is available on the One Bank app. So the second thing was create two budgets. One budget to match your current income and another budget to match your future income, one that inspires you. This budgeting thing has caused a lot of trouble because most people find it tedious and boring. And I won't lie, it can be because who really wants to spend their Saturday nights looking at spreadsheets of how much their life costs? Me. I kid, I know. It can be quite depressing. But I find that over the years, it's become exciting for me to budget because my perspective changed. I no longer see my budget as something that is designed to restrict me. I see it as a spending plan that is designed to tell me where to allocate my limited resources. in a way that reflects my values. So does your budget reflect and prioritize the things that you value? The things that bring you joy? Or is it a representation of what society wants, what your family wants, what your friends want? Or the crushing expectations of society, dragging your money in different directions that are not your own. Does it sound familiar? My budget is a tool that shows me how I can sustainably fund my goals with the income that I earn. When I started looking at it from that point of view, the energy that I brought to creating my budget changed. I came to my money dates with a glass of wine and excitement. All of a sudden, my budget was no longer a thing that brought me anxiety or a source of shame, but something that helped me achieve my goals. Setting spending limits that are included in my budget, like I'm only going to spend 100K on eating out at restaurants every month. Yeah, because I'm a foodie. I love food. It's one of my biggest problems in life. But thinking about it from that point of view, right? Like where I'm doing something that brings me joy, but within reason, and knowing that because my budget allows me to allocate my spending, right? I know what the consequences of exceeding the spending limits mean because it affects my other goals. For example, the excess spending on eating out might affect my travel budget or the length of time it will take to reach my goal to buy that property in Ibejuleki. For many of my coaching clients, changing their approach to creating a budget, like this mental shift, made a huge difference in the way that they make their financial decisions because we focus on creating strategies that work for them and their personalities instead of having a one-size-fits-all, approach to budgeting. So listen, when you budget in a way that gives you clarity around what your income can support, it makes it easier to understand the difference between what you can afford and what you can afford right now. It's possible to create a budget that matches your lifestyle. So the third strategy that I wanted to share was evaluate your friendship circle. My second book, The Small Money Tribe, is about personal finance. But a strong theme in the book is how your friendship circle can affect the way you earn, the way you spend, and the way you invest. It's really simple. Our behavior with money can easily be influenced by the people we're in close proximity to or spend the most time with, especially when you're not self-aware, right? When you don't even know yourself properly. If you hang around people who are constantly talking about their business goals, who are talking about how they solve their business problems, you're going to have more conversations about how to solve your own business problems. You're going to share more business ideas. You're going to have more of those conversations. If you have friends who are always looking for opportunities to invest, you're most likely going to talk about things like where are they selling land at a discount or compare investment returns. And if you're always talking about shoe and bag, which shoe and bag to buy, then that's where your focus will always be. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with having normal conversations with your friends about fun things like travel and fashion and beauty. I'm just saying that we need to make sure it's not the only thing that we're talking about. My friends and I discuss both lifestyle fun stuff and discuss business and investment opportunities as well. We find a balance. One of my inspirations for writing The Small Money Tribe was when I realized that when I'm in a room with men and when I'm in a room with women, the conversation is ultimately different. Men gossip, don't get it twisted. They gossip quite all right. But they're more likely to discuss what deals they're working on, what's happening in the capital markets, compare investment returns. Oh, my guy, Shibi, you are doing that deal on NNPC. Did you meet this guy? What's the best way to XYZ, right? And in talking about, those problems, talking about those experiences, we're sharing knowledge, we're sharing information, we're sharing access to opportunity. Women, on the other hand, we tend to talk about men, relationships, relationship problem, beauty, fashion, which is not bad. And when we do discuss business, it's mostly cosmetic conversations that don't necessarily affect the bottom line. Women will talk about their business ideas, their marketing strategy, how they balance being a wife, mother, and career woman. But I wrote this book because I wanted to encourage women to have more conversations in their friendship circles about revenue models, distribution strategies, share ideas on scale. How are you scaling? What are your profit goals? Asking each other questions around sales strategy, access to capital, who is giving, cheap access to capital for women? How did you solve that tax problem? we don't have enough of these conversations that affect or contribute directly to the bottom line, right? So I want to encourage women to do that. So we need to think about the fact that the reason that we constantly say your network is your net worth is because who you know gives you access to capital, access to markets, access to opportunity, access to distribution, all things that contribute significantly to our ability to build wealth. If you're not in the rooms where these discussions are being had, then you don't know what opportunities are available. You don't know what opportunities you have access to. You don't have access, right? And the truth is sometimes you're not from a rich family. You didn't go to the right schools. You don't know the right people. But the reality is sometimes we have to build our own table. We have to create our own opportunities. But to do this, we need people. Sometimes, instead of trying to find the Tara Feladrotoys or the Boko and Washikas of this world, we need to look around us. Who is in your immediate circle? And how can we leverage our strengths to help each other to get to that next level? How do we help each other become our own versions of the Tara Feladrotoys and the Boko and Washikas? But I have a theory on why this doesn't happen often enough. And it's partly to do with the scarcity mentality, the unhealthy competition amongst friends, right? I posted something on Instagram the other day that seemed to resonate with a lot of people. Eat with your friends, don't compete with them. The hustle is against poverty, not friendship. You would think that this was simple to understand, but it's so much unhealthy, competition. In my opinion, there's no room for competition in friendship. The reason most people don't share information and expertise, access to capital, access to their networks, is because they have the mentality of, let me not share before she does better than me. Or let me not ask so they don't think I don't know. We're just packaging. People are busy packaging instead of asking questions or having the right conversations and fostering friendships with people that they like. Because if you're in friendships with people that you like, you have good intentions for each other, right? We need to start learning to collaborate, to compete instead of engaging in unhealthy behavior. Your friends should inspire you to reach your goals because they are striving to reach theirs. Your friends should support your dreams. Your friends should hold you accountable when you set goals. If you're surrounded with people that pressure you to do things that you can't afford, something is wrong. If you're around people that shame you for being broke, something is wrong. If your yardstick for friendship is around material things, something is wrong. There's no room for jealousy in friendship. If you're secretly competing with your friend or people are secretly competing with each other, something is wrong. I think that in general, we need to stop all this Lagbaja bought car, so I must buy the same car. Alera bought bag, I must buy the same bag. We need to stop the excessive consumerist culture of the African middle class, where we're obsessed with status symbols and building social capital that's based on the illusion of expensive things. Don't get me wrong, money stops nonsense. It really does. So you want to, walk into a room and be addressed, the way that you want, right? Like you want to attract good things and you have to look the part. I get it. But sometimes we get over carried away, right? And we're only going to grow financially as individuals and as a continent when we are more focused on becoming producers, not consumers. Head to toe drip, but what do you produce, sis? We love Kim Kardashian's wardrobe. But before I decide to buy all the things in her wardrobe, I need to ask myself if my net worth matches hers. Do I produce and create on the scale and level that she does? We need to start feeling some type of way about aspiring to drive the same car that Dangote is driving instead of aspiring to build the assets that he has built first. I hope you found this helpful. To recap, the 3 key takeaways from this episode were: 1. Fix your money mindset. If you have a scarcity mentality, it limits you and you tend to make decisions from a place of lack. 2. Create 2 budgets, a budget that fits your current income and a budget that inspires you. 3. Evaluate your friendship circles. Surround yourself with people who want to see you succeed and keep you accountable to your goals. Now, if you're someone who struggles with budgeting in your financial life, sign up for my one-on-one coaching sessions where we'll go through your expenses, match them with your money goals, and come up with strategies for budgeting that fit your personality. So the idea is at the end of the session, we we come up with a budget that fits your lifestyle. So I'm doing something special for my poddies. So if you've listened to the podcast and you want to sign up for a budgeting coaching session, quote the reference SMT podcast and you'll get a 15% discount on your coaching sessions. Yay! Don't forget to subscribe, share. Can't wait to hear from all of you. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Smart Money Tribe podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm super excited about creating financial content for African Millennial women who want to live a fabulous life, but also want to learn how to find the balance between spending on their lifestyle needs and building assets that could protect their financial futures.